Are you tired of feeling stuck in life and unable to reach your full potential? Have you ever considered that the way you think and the images you have in your mind could be holding you back? Hey there, my name is Alan, and in this video, we will dive into the power of the secret self and how harnessing the power of your imagination can lead to a life full of success and fulfillment. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the amazing potential of the human mind. The key to opening the door to your full potential lies in awareness. It is the realization that we are the creators of our own experiences, not just passive observers. By embracing awareness, we detach from the limiting emotions that bind us, freeing us to soar to new heights. Soul healing is just the first of many blessings that come with awareness. So wake up gently and effortlessly, and allow the richness of all your desires to flow to you. Imagination is the matrix through which our desires take shape in the material world. But what is imagination, and where does it come from? None of us seems to know for sure. Thinking is not done through a part of the body or through the body as a whole, but through the inner dweller. Thought is that capacity which enables consciousness to know its environment and to know itself. Only he who can think can say I, and only he who can say I can create images within his own being. I am. This is the way, the truth, and the life. Those who have simplified this great truth to the statement, I am the way, the truth, and the life, have had other purposes than the awakening of humanity. Knowledge occurs through a knower and the thing to be known. An object can be described by its length, width, height, weight, hardness, color, name, and by the fact that it retains most of these characteristics from one encounter to another, which allows it to be recognized by the knower. If the sheer existence of that item causes a certain response on man, such as fear, anger, joy, sorrow, or disgust, the fundamental emotions, then the mere presence of that thing materially influences man's life. What can we conclude from this? In sleeping individuals, man's state of mind is the direct outcome of unconscious perception of the item and its relationship with prior experiences and states, rather than self-determination. We are born and we die, and none of our known talents, abilities, or knowledge can prevent these events from happening. As far as we are aware, in reaction to external recommendations obtained through sensory channels, we are little more than machines, and our entire lives are predetermined by the conditions we experience. Imagination is the key to freedom from the bondage of the limitations of our senses. Wondering how we can achieve this? It is very simple. We just need to raise our vibration and choose what we believe from all the thoughts that run through our minds. Having faith begins with awareness. That is, distancing oneself from external influences through the senses. Why is this important? Because the strongest faith means having faith in what contradicts what we perceive through our senses. We have the option of allowing our ideas to emanate from a hidden source within ourselves, rather than being triggered by stimuli from the outer world. We might determine that the pictures in our brains are no longer the consequence of the circumstances we experience, but rather the outcome of the interaction between our inner energy and our aspirations. Thus, the quality of our consciousness will be tempered by our genuine objectives, and we will be instantaneously liberated from the trap that keeps us from reaching our goals, as we put confidence in every obstacle we face. The principle of wish fulfillment says that only what is ingrained in the mind can become a reality in the physical world. Therefore, the person with a consciousness influenced only by the objectives and goals set within is free from any defeat or failure. Only that which aligns with the inner vision is accepted into our inner sanctum, our great inner temple, and allowed to take root in the creative environment of our subconscious. Knowledge of this subconscious and trust in it is the key to using the imagination successfully. No one lives in darkness when they discover where the light is. Understanding the subconscious is about freeing yourself from the bondage of external conditions and unleashing an inner power that gives you proper control over your life. This entity within us, which is not the ego, experience, time, or external conditions, but only the pure consciousness of this self. This sense of existence is the subconscious that holds all power. The essence of this self is greater than any individual, and even greater than 1,000,000 individuals put together. It is the fundamental structure that sustains all creation in this universe. The self is not limited by the body, by a particular time, place, or condition, but exists in all times and places and conditions. It is infinite and eternal, unique, but it can just as easily manifest as finite, temporary, and multiple. The eternal and infinite self contains all forms of existence. It has never had a beginning and will never have an end. It materializes through its creations, becoming that creation. Life, the world, and the universe are the work of the soul, the result of its secret purpose in this existence. Its nature is mental, and its essence is dynamic and creative. The self is an eternal substance that occupies the whole of space and time, without dimensions. The many forms of life are only a small part of its vast potential. The secret self lies within each of us, not limited to a lucky few or hidden from the rest. By separating ourselves from the world, ego, and sensual stimuli, we develop awareness of its inner presence and engage in conscious identification with it. By identifying with the self, inner strength is cultivated. The person who succeeds in freeing his consciousness from the limitations imposed by the ego and in expanding his awareness through the disciplined use of imagination will become wise to the hidden self and thus achieve a certain level of power. Each of us has the potential to achieve this. By cultivating inner awareness and by careful use of the power of imagination, an individual can achieve union with his deepest purposes and thus attain all his goals, provided they are of a noble nature. This concept may seem difficult to accept because of the negative influence of our materialistic society, which honors only what can be observed through science, thus removing us from 3/4 of our authentic way of thinking. We have focused too much attention on the world and what it contains, how we can control it, and despite the fact that we now know more about the origin and purpose of life than when we could not read or write, our knowledge is still limited. Scientific theory holds that the laws of matter are supreme and that we must adapt in order to thrive. But there is also an opposing theory that says that consciousness creates matter, not the other way around. Behind life is a great universal mind that is subject to this consciousness, and this mind is in each of us in the form of our secret self. By knowing and using this self, we can overcome the laws of nature and free ourselves from the bondage of the senses and the material world. The events that take place in our lives are part of our journey towards becoming fully unified with the true essence of our being. The all-encompassing entity behind the creation of the universe has taken on a finite form, or one could say, it has masked itself to reflect the countless facets of infinity and its everlasting nature. As a result, one does not have to attain sainthood to comprehend and harness the power of the true essence of the self. It is enough to understand the following principle. Anything we firmly hold in our minds as a lasting image will manifest in the physical world. The man who broadens his consciousness and realizes the ultimate goal of life is able to do so. What we are in our minds determines our reality in life, and this fact cannot be altered. It takes great courage to acknowledge that our states of sickness, fear, frustration, and defeat are self-inflicted, and that only we have the power to escape them. This principle is not applicable only occasionally, but all the time, and it governs our current reality in the material world. The images that persist in our consciousness are inseparable from us. They influence our surroundings, either nurturing or tormenting us, depending on their quality. The quality of these images is determined by the thoughts and visions that generate them. As long as we are alive, as long as we think and imagine, we are constantly surrounded by the images that dominate our minds. The material that thoughts are comprised of is governed by the law that requires them to manifest in the physical world. In simpler terms, thoughts become reality. It is essential that we carefully select the thoughts we invest in and have unwavering faith in them. The incredible power of the true essence of the self is that it brings to life the image it perceives. This principle is demonstrated perfectly through current experiments in hypnosis. For instance, an individual may experience such severe pain that even powerful pain medications cannot alleviate it. However, if they are put under deep hypnosis and told that they do not feel pain, the pain will suddenly vanish. This serves as a clear illustration of this concept. Another individual may have a strong and persistent fear of large gatherings, but under hypnosis, if they are told that they enjoy being in crowded places, they will indeed feel that way. The person in a hypnotic state can become stronger, overcome illnesses, and even increase their intelligence, all because these things have been ingrained into their subconscious as real and true. You might say that you desire the services of a competent hypnotist in order to be smart, strong, and successful, and to rid yourself of weakness, pain, and failure. Hypnosis can achieve these goals if you are willing to surrender control of your life to someone else. However, if you choose to relinquish control and hand your life over to a hypnotist, while you will still occupy your body, you will no longer be in the driver's seat. This means you will have given up control over your own life. You don't require a hypnotist to harness the power of the true essence of the self for positive outcomes in your life. It's not feasible for a hypnotist to prevent the formation of negative thoughts in your mind, as they cannot be present with you 24 hours a day. You are the sole individual who is consistently in contact with yourself, and as a result, you are the only one capable of managing the thoughts and images you entertain. If you permit external influences to hinder your imagination, you are not exerting control over your life. Ultimately, the brilliant promise of the true essence of the self is that you have the ability to transform your life by adjusting the thoughts and images in your mind. What occurs in your life is only what you have agreed to in your consciousness. Although some individuals may agree with this principle, they may argue that the thoughts and images in one's consciousness are projected from the subconscious and are not a deliberate choice. Many schools of psychotherapy appear to hold the belief that eliminating painful and distressing memories from the subconscious mind is the key to treating the mind. However, this approach often requires a prolonged and laborious treatment process, and even after years of therapy, the mind may not be rid of these unpleasant memories. This raises the question, if psychotherapy is meant to be effective, why does it take so long? And if a person were to consult with a neuroscientific expert, they would learn that true healing may not even be possible. Pay attention to what I am saying. You have no control over the movement of stars or the rotation of the earth. You cannot influence the wind or calm the seas. However, you have control over the thoughts you allow into your mind. You have the power to choose the thoughts you dwell on, the thoughts you entertain. You can choose to think positive thoughts, to focus on your goals, to visualize your desires. If you have a strong resolve and a noble purpose, success will be yours. Your unwavering determination will project a clear image in your mind, and that image will manifest in the physical world. Your desires will be realized. The human mind's reluctance to change is astonishing, especially considering the fact that life is an ongoing process of change itself. It's surprising how resistant some individuals, even those with high intelligence, are to change their views. They assert that all causes stem solely from the physical realm, and that the mind serves merely as a spectator. However, this is a fundamentally flawed perspective, as their own actions and beliefs contradict this notion. Despite this, they persist in their stance, despite the power of the mind over matter being reflected in their own sayings. Many motivational messages, like "a coward never wins" and "a winner never quits," are displayed on posters in locker rooms or conference rooms. If a team is determined not to lose, they cannot be defeated. Putting effort into all that you do leads to success. By making a conscious decision, you create your own future, all starting with a strong inner vision. This is how it all works. Success cannot be achieved without first having a mental image of it. Before taking any action, you need to have a clear picture in your mind of what you want to accomplish. The things you receive in life are directly tied to the thoughts and images that exist in your mind. Physical effort alone is not enough to counteract a negative or incorrect mental image. The majority of the difficulties and efforts in life stem from people who are trapped in unfavorable situations due to inaccurate mental pictures. This phenomenon is so widespread that it keeps therapists and psychiatrists busy, as people continue to visualize the very thing they claim to detest. Imagination is the most powerful creative force in the universe, and the imagination of the great universal mind is responsible for creating things that cannot be made by human hands in this world. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and understand the workings of your mind. By analyzing your world, you can determine the influence of your thoughts, emotions, imagination, and other inherent talents. Discover and harness the inner powers within you. In conclusion, the power of imagination and the mind is immense and undeniable. It shapes our reality and determines our experiences. We have the ability to control our thoughts, emotions, and mental images, and create the life we desire. By understanding the workings of our mind, we can unleash its full potential and turn our inner visions into tangible realities. The journey towards self-discovery and unlocking our inner powers is one that requires courage, discipline, and a firm resolve. But the reward is a life of abundance, happiness, and success. So dare to be wise, analyze your world, and unlock the full potential of your mind. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this in the future.